everyone. A few weeks ago, I was in the city centre, and as I was walking to SPEAKup actually, a lady called out to me, "Mum!" I sort of looked back, it was this white lady, and I thought, well, she's certainly not calling me. I carried on walking, and she was like, "Mum!" And I looked back, and she came over to me, and she said, "Don't you remember me? I was one of your foster daughters." She explained who she was, and I was totally in shock looking at her. She was now 43 years old. She told me that she had 2 children who were now in foster care. She was an alcoholic, and she was living on the streets. I was devastated inside. I just couldn't believe that this woman, who I was beginning to remember, had ended up on the streets. When I eventually got home, I started to think about all the foster children that had passed through my home, because I was a short-term foster carer, so they didn't stay too long with me, no more than like 3 years. And there was this one lad in particular who came to my mind. He was 7 years old when he came to my home. And I can remember when he first came through the door, and he was like, "Ah, you chocolate face, chocolate face." And I was like, "Oh, so I'm assuming that means you don't like chocolate." And he was like, "Yeah, I like chocolate. We became best of friends. He was extremely challenging, but I think that's what I loved about him the most. I used to tell the foster children, the younger ones, bedtime stories before they went to bed, and this young lad, he always wanted a bedtime story. This one particular night, he decided he wanted a story about a dog. I read the story after it had finished. He told me that he had a puppy. I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting. How do you feel now that you're here and you haven't got your puppy with you?" He went, "It's okay. He's dead now." So I was like, "Oh no." And he went, "Yeah." I said, "What happened?" Well, one day, my puppy was really, really cold, and he was shivering like this. And I thought, I've got to make him warm. So what he did was he took his puppy into the kitchen, opened up the microwave, put his puppy in the microwave, shut the door, and went to watch TV. Do you know what? I was watching the TV and it went pow! I got up and I ran into the kitchen with my brother, and all you could see was the eye just slithering down the door. I was in total shock. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And for this little boy, it was just so normal because of what his life experience had been bringing to him. When I thought of that, I thought to myself, what on earth has happened to this little boy? If this young girl who had stayed with me, and she was quite intelligent, good looking, really pleasant, had ended up homeless, taking drugs, the children taken off her, what had happened to this, for me, this lovely, charming little boy? I have no idea. Of all the foster children that I have supported and helped and cared and loved, I have no idea where they are, what they're doing today, if they're on the streets, drugs, alcoholics. It's made me realise that there has to be something more that I can do for the young people who come in my home. At the moment, I have 4 asylum seeker lads. Life is very difficult for them, but I want to offer more, because looking back, I don't believe that I did enough. I want to do more today. Thank you.